if my math is correct, which normally it's not, but in this case, I do believe it's right. This year, I will be celebrating or commemorating 25 years of full-time ministry. Can you even believe it? And I know what you're thinking. There's no way. This guy's way too young and youthful and spry to have been doing this for 25 years. Is he even 25 years old? Thank you for saying that. And no one's more surprised by 25 years than me. And it's not because of my age, because I feel every bit of my age and all the mileage I have accumulated over time. And it is not because time flies when you're having fun. Trust me, because not all of this has been fun. I am surprised by the number 25 years, because one would think that if anyone does anything for that length of time, for 25 years, they would probably get a little bit better at doing what they do, or even just grow a little bit more confident in doing what they do. The opposite is true for me. Somehow I have not gotten any better. In fact, I've gotten worse. I know less today than I did when I started. When I was 19 years old, I know less today than I did then. When I first started ministry, it wasn't my plan, and I felt a little coerced, and I was begrudging getting involved. And so it felt like if you watch a survivalist show, Survivor, and they're trying to build a fire just rubbing sticks together, and you see the sweat pouring from their face, and they're getting frustrated. And it's not a natural thing to do. It's arduous, it's difficult, it's frustrating. That's how I felt getting into ministry. It was not natural for me. I was an introvert, and I had to learn how to do it. But over time, it didn't take too long. I caught fire. And so I was on fire for the Lord. I was passionate and zealous and, dare I say, charismatic. And I wore the cool preacher attire and carried my Bible everywhere. And I was extremely outspoken, very opinionated. And I would share that opinion with anything that moved. And over time, I became very judgmental, self-righteous, sanctimonious, all the annoying things that we hate. And so I was that. Over time, that fire is doused, is put out and extinguished. And like I said, over the last 25 years, I think I've done more unlearning than learning. It's sort of been an excavation, and my perspective has become way more simple. In life, there's things that matter, and then there's a lot of things that don't. The things that matter deserve our time and our attention. The things that don't matter, they're trivial. They don't really deserve that much time and attention. And I think part of growing and becoming more mature is distinguishing the two, learning which one's which, the things that matter from the things that don't. Galatians 5:6 is a verse that I've shared many, many times, where the Apostle Paul shares the only thing that matters. He says this, Galatians 5:6, the only thing that counts, the only thing of consequence is this: faith expressing itself through love. The only thing that really matters in this life is that the God of the universe would love us so fiercely and extravagantly and unconditionally that he would send his only son to die just so that we could be with him forever. And trusting that is what matters. Trusting, letting that love wrap its arms around us, carry us, and make us whole, make us righteous, and give our life purpose and meaning, to have our eyes open to how great this love and this grace is. And when you do realize how great this love and this grace is, you have to share it. You can't just manage it for your own existence and live in it. You have to let it pour out of you and share it with as many people as possible. When you get a revelation of the amazing grace that that was necessary for God to share so that we could be with him forever, it's very difficult to become just isolated, trying to make yourself successful. Your eyes are open to other people. Mr. Rogers, who I quote a lot, has a great quote, and I'm going to read it to you. It's beautiful and pertains to what we're talking about. Because deep down we know that what matters in this life is much more than winning for ourselves. What matters is helping others win. Even if that means slowing down and changing course every once in a while, inconveniencing ourselves and taking a break, slowing down to open our eyes and live out our life instead of just in it. I spent a lot of time in my ministerial career putting all the eggs in the basket of just becoming more successful at being a pastor. Me being better. And that is not the big picture. In fact, me becoming more has more to do with focusing outwardly than it does inwardly. We're called, we're built, we're designed to trust God and to love others. And what robs us of that is becoming contained in our own existence, our own life, and making the point ourselves. There's a verse that comes to mind when I think about the old me, the clanging cymbal, the noisy gong. That is not the point. It's 1 Corinthians 13, but that's definitely what I was. And I would much rather aspire to the other side of that verse, which is to love others, to share love. So I would encourage you to consider that and allow God to show us the big picture, what really truly counts in this life.